Hello everyone, welcome back to another Shonen Jump Aura Collection video. My name is D-Free, and in this video I'll be going through a full tutorial of the app and kind of navigating around and answering some general questions that can kind of get you off the ground going if you just started playing the game. Of course, we're not going to go super in depth because this game actually has a lot of different elements as far as PvE and PvP are concerned, team building, etc. But we'll save that for another time. But I'm not alone. Per normal, I'm joined by Woki. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hello, everyone, and also you, D-Free.
Thanks for joining me because you are like the guru of this game. So I appreciate you and your assistance with this type of stuff at any point. So anyways.
Glad to help.
Yeah, so Woki, what do we have here? This is the first tab on the far left bottom section, guys, if you want to keep up. This is where you open it up. This is the home screen, essentially. You have your manga layout, and that is your current team setup. I mean, there's nothing really else to it. I mean, your front row characters are there. Your Naruto, your Kakashi, your Sasuke. Back row is Sakura and Krillin because he's a part of Team 7. Otherwise, we have a few buttons here, Woki. You want to start off with these four up here?
Sure. Let's start the first top right there. You'll see the thing that says sales. That's where you'll buy orbs. If you can avoid it, try not to buy from the orb shop. It's very expensive. But you'll also, yeah, unless you're the whale. The very top is to do buying for orbs. The bottom is to refill your stamina. And the very last one is to buy for space. You will never need to use any of these because you get stamina potions, and also they occasionally go like, we understand that you need more space, here's like 100 free space.
I love when games do that.
It's very nice, especially if you come from Dokkan that took like a year to get any free space. But that's that tab.
We don't really have to go over this one too much because this one is the settings, and there's a lot of settings in here, such as like creating a transfer code or things of that nature. So if you kind of want to, just general, this is where you would create your transfer code. I'm not going to show mine right now. So
yeah, not a good idea.
Not a good idea. But there are other things like your volume and stuff like that. So we don't really need to go too deep through that. It's just your general game setting type deal. So what are these next to?
Okay, right underneath that is a follower list. That is the closest thing we have to a friends list. We don't have traditional friends list because you can't send codes back. Basically, if you see someone, because when you pick a friend, if you like the friend and you like their unit, you just say, you click the OK button and they're automatically added to your list and they're just there. I like to use it as a Pokemon-style catching system where I try and look for my friends. On an alt, I have D-Free on there, and I have... another one, I have Scar, who does the translations over at OCHD. So it's like basically a friends list.
Cool. And the next one's very general. It's just the news. I mean, if you need to go back and see the news for any reason, you can kind of pull it up here, even though mine isn't loading. But yeah.
You can be a little, yeah.
And then what's this little light bulb right here in the middle of the page that's pulsating?
Yeah, the light bulb button is usually used for, it's not going to show up here because you're not a beginner anymore, but this is whenever there's like a campaign. Like currently we're in the summer campaign. This is where a lot of those missions are. So once this is all stamina based, once you get stamina, you get 1,000, you get all the rewards. Also, it resets daily, not everything, but if you do one, like if you spend 20 stamina and then also do a PvP match, you get like some orbs out of it. And that will show up whenever we do a campaign.
Awesome. So the bottom two, the presents, as you would expect, are gifts. The game gives you a lot of them. I like to let mine sit for a little bit. That's how I do all my games. But right next to that, we have the missions as well. So you complete daily missions here. Otherwise, these are other objectives, right?
Yep. The first tab is always the dailies. The middle tab is usually current missions that are going. So right now we have Luffy and Chopper. This is also where we get PvP resets. And these are always like your daily, like whenever there's a new mission or stuff shows up, these will reset. And the third tab is the one that's the least used, which is your basically, this is how long you've been playing. Total days. And this is the yeah, this is also the most disappointing because for being here for 300 days, you get 40 orbs.
Oh, man, that's not very much, but it's something, so I'll take it. Anyways, that's the general layout of page 1. Forgive us if you knew all that. Now, this one over here is a little bit different. This is the manga panel section. Woki, run us through this one.
Okay, so this is where you're going to be going to level up. Unlike every other game in existence where you level up by playing, you level up by collecting manga panels. And depending on what units are available through PvP or through shop, there will be different like banner specifically to pull from, and you'll currency just by logger. Right now we have Muho and Ryoji and a Naruto banner in terms of panels. And when you pull panels, they come in different rarities. They used to mean something. They don't mean anything anymore. But usually there's really cool like animated art for people. Like
I'll even do a single just
like,
because.
Animated. Let's see if you actually get an animated one.
Watch me do
This
it.
robot also used to dance. He doesn't anymore.
Oh, he doesn't anymore?
Oh,
He used to go side to side.
No, he didn't. He used to do like a little shimmy.
Yeah.
They have nerfed him and removed his shimmy. Even if you aren't like, even if you're max level, it's good to pull from here because when you get a dupe, you get a coin doubler, and you can use the coin doubler to basically like as a double your money from any mission, and that will help coma and stuff. So you'll be pulling from this a lot.
So just to kind of show the correlation to this, each new manga panel that you pull will count as 1 point towards your level. And if you look at the level in the far top left, the number below that 9 is the number that I need. I need to pull 9 more manga panels, some of which you can get from playing story stages or things like that, events. But technically, I need to get 9 more new panels in order to level up to 64. That's how that basically goes over. We didn't really cover that top section, but I mean, here's the gem currency right here in the top left. These are your gold. This is my enormous amount of whale orbs that you would use for summons.
God.
Below that is the stamina. Of course, this does go up incrementally with the levels as well. And this right here is your stamina tank, technically, like reservoir.
Stamina overflow.
Yeah. So it doesn't actually let you go over, but it basically goes right here. You know, when you go over your stamina, if you were to refill it or whatever reason. And then otherwise, after that, when you max out this, they give you a 100 stamina bottle. So.
Yeah. And that will be helpful when you're wanting to grind out some character in PvE when it's like, all right, freezes up, may as well go grind him now.
Yep. And another little thing in here is they do have a way to view your collection as well, and there are other things you can get by collecting a lot of the manga panels and stuff like that. You know, I have one here, but I'm not going to pick it up, but there's a lot you can really do as far as like collection go. But again, like Woki said, these used to be used for equipment and stuff, but that just kind of got too convoluted. They changed it up, so you really don't have to worry about it. But it is your only way to rank up in this game. You will not rank up if you do not do these. And daily, they'll give you the currency, so you should be fine. You should be able to do it. So moving on over here, we have a few modes. This is the tower mode. This one right here apparently is going to get buffed soon or changed or updated, whatever you said, Loki.
So if you're playing now and you haven't finished the tower, finish the tower now because it is, I believe, next update will get resetted. So all these will be gone and we'll have a new difficulty level for it. Either next update or this update. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's coming soon.
It's just normal gameplay, you know, and it gives rewards, so totally go get it done if you haven't yet, because objectives, right? It's nice to be able to get access to more orbs and things of that nature, particularly if you're free to play.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, over here we have story mode, and I came back to the game just like a month ago or so, and I was like, wow, I can't believe they haven't updated the story basically since I played when the game was brand new. So yeah, once you get here, you're kind of just done, so.
They've saved... Oh, my bad. A lot of the stuff that they've saved for this, like, story hasn't updated in a long time. The only thing they updated is that now you can get coma from them. You get very low-level coma. But for the most part, a lot of the story stuff is saved for actual story events that cover entire arcs. The funny thing is that story actually has some bosses that you can't find anywhere else.
Yep.
And they've been slowly figuring out a way to free them from the story prison that they exist in.
Yeah, like you were saying, a lot of that kind of gets relegated to being actual, like, event content. So, for example, you know, they take you through a rundown of, like, hey, this is where we're at in terms of, that we might even do it. Okay, here it is. Because I just transferred and it's going to show the little video. But yeah, they take you through this pretty much with the events, you know, whenever a new one drops. This one just came out again, you know, yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, yesterday, after everyone assumed that these were done, they were like, actually, no, we're bringing them back. And we were like, what?
Yeah, because they did this, and then I kind of realized when I came back, they basically dumbed all the events down. They took all these panels off and just kind of made it a stage thing, where you play the stage a couple of times. They took the thematics away. Crocodile! All right, I can't do anything because it's just going, so.
No, these will go through. I should have probably warned you, but it's okay because it's really cool looking. And you can grind for Chopper, Luffy, and on the hardest difficulty you can grind for both.
Yep. And then, of course, there are other stages as well. That one's the current event. It's going to stay there just in general until the date runs out, which I shouldn't have clicked that. But otherwise, the other ones are on a daily rotation. So daily, you're able to grind these characters. You get little tickets for them, which can be used for exchange over here. If you come to this section, this is the exchange shop. Pretty much in the exchange shop, you're able to... This is where you get your training items, basically. For the most part, this is where you're going to get all of them. You get to exchange up to 50 a day. And just like any other game, using the same color training equipment does give you an increased amount of experience for same colored units, which we'll get to momentarily as well. Also, down below, you can pick up some of the... what are these called? I don't know what they're called, actually.
They're
little scrolls.
Skill scrolls.
Yeah, there
skill
we go.
scrolls.
Yeah, you can pick up your scrolls on a daily rotation as well. Other than that, this is where you would go ahead and if you were playing and just kind of playing the story events, for example, the Luffy and Chopper ones, and you wanted to awaken those units, you can technically buy the materials that they would need to awaken further. Because the free units do have their own specific, whereas other units, they just kind of use other units technically.
Yeah.
And this section right here is for the same exact thing for the summonable units, though, that jump awaken. So they again
Some
use
free to
currency.
play are in there as well.
Yeah, some other free to play ones are in here as well. But for the ones that are probably higher tiered, I'd say.
Yeah.
I forget you can do this actually. I need to start checking this more often.
It resets once a week. You can buy a ticket, which let me tell you, very useful.
Yeah, that's a free summon ticket, guys. Make sure you do that every week. I always forget. And then this tab up here, the second one, is where you see the tickets that you farmed for the characters. So you see right now that Joey on the second row has 100 out of 50, meaning that I can pick up 2 copies of him if I were to do that right now. Otherwise, characters we're farming right now, Chopper and Luffy, they are very lacking. So
Yeah.
this is where your free-to-play units, you get them from. You just exchange the little tickets or whatever they are for them. Now, this tab right here is PvP. We're not really going to cover PvP a whole lot. Basically, these are foes that you can challenge. When you defeat all of them, you get a bonus for the final opponent. That's basically it. There's not really much else I want to really cover as far as this is concerned because it's dependent on the team, your units, and that's the whole other freaking can of worms, basically, right, Wokey?
Yeah, this is where boys turn to men and girls into ladies. This is where the true test of will is tested, and also what will make most people quit the game.
Yeah, PvP is it's a mess, man. It's really hard sometimes. Like, it doesn't matter how much you spend either. So I'm still working. I haven't actually played this season a lot. Don't mind my bad rank, but still. Anyways, this is everybody's favorite, the gacha. So yeah, brief rundown is, as you see below, the tickets. You can do a single if you would like to. A single tickets, you get 10. You can do a multi if you have 10. This is why we said make sure you do that. You also can get the tickets via other means, so you don't have to only do that. Of course, you have your normal summon mechanics. You know, use your orbs for your summons, and then there's a bunch of banners. So yeah, there's that pretty much. Not really much to say here. Summon for what you want when you want. And this is the final tab. So the top section up here is where you would go over your team composition, and you have various other things you can change, basically, because you're able to equip different skills in your characters if you wanted to do that. For example, I have this skill leveled up for some reason. Couldn't tell you why. Otherwise, we do have other areas over here. For example, what is this? This is a passive list, yeah?
Yeah, these are all their passives. It's unless you read Japanese, it's very hard to tell. You can usually tell by the little like markings what the passives are. Like, he has an attack boost one, he has one that boosts ult, and one that increases his defense. That's all you really know. And it can be good like little shorthand, but some characters have some really weird ones. Like if you click on Kakashi, I think he has one for cooldown reduction, which is all the way at the bottom. And then he has like 2 other really weird ones with like HP and heart.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on there. And then these are the characteristics of the character, yeah?
That's correct.
Something that doesn't really matter because we can't really read Japanese, but it does matter when it comes to team composition. So be aware
Very
of that.
important.
Yeah, very, very important, especially in PvP. And this is Coma. We'll come back to Coma in a little bit, briefly anyway. So as far as that's concerned, that's where, like I said, you build your teams. This first tab is where you train up your characters. I mentioned it previously, but the characters that you train, there's a couple of different elements to it, though. So right here, right, you see the statistics of the character. My All Might's not max leveled. Again, if I were to use yellow or whatever colored training weights, he'd be able to probably get max level a lot easier than to use these other off-colored ones. But more importantly, if you went ahead and you trained him with other characters, either dupes of him, for example, there's a dupe right here in the middle at the top, he's able to get more overboost. This number right here jumps to 44, and the J's in the circle right below the statistics. Now that's important because each time one of those circles fills up, the character increases their overall stats and potential. They get a lot better, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and of course, as you see other summonable units or free units or whatever, different rarities, you're able to use as well. There are also cans that kind of help you with that. So priority should be units that you think are really, really good. For the most part, though, either feeding in characters that are maxed out gives a nice amount, but I wouldn't recommend that too much. But otherwise, dupes, especially if it's a free unit like All Might. So that's Overboost in a nutshell. Make sure you get it done on the characters you think are really, really good because it'll help you out a lot in the long run. Other than that, if we move on to the third tab here, we have access to leveling up the character skills. Run us through this one, Wokey.
All right, that's Chad.
It's Chad. Nice guy.
Yeah, nice guy. And it usually, like, so I don't remember how much it costs, but usually it starts with you use some bronze and you use a universal bronze, and then you use silver and bronze, and then eventually you'll get to the point where you're only using silver and gold, and it will be the cost will go up. That's why it's also important for you to, when you can, do the stages, because you're going to be needing it for a lot of characters. The ones you always are going to be grinding are all-rounders and DPS. That's just always going to be the thing you're going to be needing. Support is also like the third, because like Aya, for example, they're not as common as all-rounders and DPS, but they're also extremely, when the units are out there, they usually come out with like extremely like broken effects, like Aya, who has a cooldown reduction.
Stupid. I hate her.
She is crazy good. And if your skills aren't at 10, that's also chances are why you're losing at PvP. Because I've had plenty of people come up to me and go like, I don't understand why I'm losing at PvP. I have the team you told me, I'm using your team. And I go, what level are your skills? And they go like 4, 5, and 6. And I'm like,
yeah,
can't help you.
Because what it is, it lowers the character's cooldown time for that skill, so they use it faster. So that's another reason why. And of course, it increases damage or adds other various effects. You want to make sure you get that done. Especially like if you're going up against characters that are opponents that have their characters max leveled out. And again, these are just, the scrolls we talked about. You can get them daily. They also have their own grind stage. Technically, we didn't really cover that a whole lot. Kind of glossed over it, but they do have those on daily rotations. At the very bottom, there's a defense type one. So you would use those for characters with that emblem, basically. If we come over here, these characters have the little emblems in the bottom right corners. So pretty self-explanatory. Just match them up, and then you'd be able to use those for the characters. But yeah, make sure you do level up the skills on your characters when you get a chance. As you see, I still am working on a lot of mine. Since coming back, the game's very grindy, so it takes a while.
Yeah.
But this first one on the second row, this is my whale tab. Because these are all units I don't have any plans to jump Awaken. They're just here.
This hurts me. Looking at this hurts me.
Don't worry, it was a lot worse. I kind of fed some for overboost.
Fair.
So this is where you jump Awaken your characters. Remember how we talked about the fact that you can exchange 4 medals for characters in the shop? Well, once you do that, you can kind of come here and see what you need. You need 50 of each of these for this character. Don't know his name because I haven't seen the anime, or read the manga. Okay, well, that guy. Anyways, you're able to, from here, jump Awaken him to another character, basically. Kind of like if you play Dokkan, he goes from being a UR to being a TUR, pretty much. And max level stays the same until you go ahead and victory the units, which we actually glossed over as well. But basically, you do that, your character gets better, their skills change, etc., etc. So they become a different unit, technically. But we didn't really cover victory and why some units say victory. Long story short, because I do want to keep this as concise and not throw a million things at you. If I were to do this, right, which I'm not going to, this character would, as you see, jump from being level 50 maximum to level 60. And this is how you awaken units just in general. This applies to every character, right? If we come down here to a 4-star, or even, Chopper, again, like I said, free units, they have their own stuff. But, look at Chopper. If we come over here to this Krillin, yeah, I know, right? He needs to be max leveled, but if I were to feed him 3 other dupes of another unit that's 3-star pretty much, he'd jump up to being a 4-star. Max level would jump up to being 40 out of, 1 out of 40 or whatever. And then again from there, you use 4-star characters to get them to 5-star. And then you use 5-star characters like I was doing with the Killua to get them up to 6-star, technically, which is just victory. So.
Yes. And they do have to be max level when you're doing it.
Yep.
Otherwise, you'll just get like a,
So yeah, if I were to do this, he technically jumps to being the next rarity, which is victory. And from there, that's the epitome of power for these units. They don't get any better than that. And in tandem with being jump awoken as well. And the last few are really, really easy. This is just like character list, I believe. Right here,
yeah,
this is
that's
item
everything
list.
that's in your box. You'll see.
Yeah, that's pretty much all those really are. This next one is for selling stuff, and then the last one is for Coma. Coma is the new equipment system in the game. Previously, we had access to equipping the manga panels, but they decided, I guess, that was too convoluted, huh, Oki?
Oh yeah, it was, because there's over 900 manga panels, and you only knew what 10 did.
Yeah, so now we just use Coma, and they have various effects. Unfortunately, I can't really give you too much about this because I don't read Japanese, but I can tell you that they have different main effects as well, because these are attack-type Comas, these are defense-type Comas, it looks like. These ones right here are crit, and these next ones are the
ult.
Damage for ult. And last, negate status debuffs alongside chance to sleep, yeah?
Yeah, this one's maybe the silliest one, which is every single normal attack has a chance to make the opponent fall asleep.
Whatever, I guess.
It's really funny because very few teams use it, but the ones that do are very annoying.
So, I think that we've pretty much covered everything. There
is one thing we did forget, which is the clock. If you click the clock right next to the point, it will show you what things are going to come up next in the schedule. And this will help you kind of understand what is to come. So you'll see what's on daily rotation and stuff like that. But that's basically it, I think. That's the only thing that was like bothering me. Like, okay, we need to get back to that.
You know what? To be fair, I don't use it. So that's why. I just kind of just go.
I get asked a lot. And a lot of times it's like, well, did you check the clock? And then they go, what clock?
Yeah, we pretty much covered everything. Like I said, I didn't want to make it like a 45-minute tutorial and try to go in depth and, explain other things. But if you guys want us to, let us know in the comment section down below some other things you would like for Woki and I to cover. Woki, it was a pleasure to have you on. I'm sorry I cut you off a few times in here, man. I just was kind of like, yo, I need to say something.
No, it's all good. The people came for you. I'm just here as the hype man to help, like the of the Run DMC. No, not Rev Run. We'll talk about this later. We'll talk off screen which member of the Run DMC am I.
Guys, if you want more Aura Collection and other wacky content, make sure you do subscribe to Woki. Link will be down below in the description. Otherwise, let us know, like I said, anything you want to see covered or talked about or anything like that. We'll try to get that done for you. But either way, have an awesome day, and we will catch you all in the next Shonen Jump Aura Collection video. Take it easy, guys.
Good night and good luck.